Hey, thanks so much. Hello, good to see everybody. Hi. We're going to talk briefly. We've only got 5 minutes. This is a really big subject, obviously, about what's happening to platform engineering teams with the rise, the swift rise of AI. Look, AI is not going anywhere, okay? Budgets have doubled for AI tools over the last year alone and continuing to move in a very strong trajectory. We're seeing all kinds of different results. Obviously, some teams are seeing a lot of velocity gains and even quality gains in some cases when we look on an industry average. We had the Dora report that came out just recently, the state of AI, talking about these sort of like modest positive leaning gains in terms of quality. We saw like a 7% increase in overall documentation quality, 3% increase in code maintainability, which is like good that it's just not moving in the opposite direction, right? But I will say that these industry averages are a little bit deceiving because this is what happens when we break some of those averages out by company. This is the change failure rate Dora metric, and each bar represents movement when adopting at least moderate AI usage and how it's affected change failure rate. The top line is a 2% increase, bottom line is a 2% decrease, and the industry benchmark is 4%. So that 2% increase at the top could be as much as 50% more defects being shipped as a result of adopting AI, right? So volatility. We can't trust these industry average reports. And as platform teams, we need to start making sure that we're thinking about what we can do to stay on the top line of this graph. So what is the new mandate for platform engineering teams? First of all, we have to take a data-driven approach to our AI rollout and our optimization. We need to measure. Right? And the good thing is we've already got a lot of productivity measurements that we can use, like, for instance, the Core 4, which I'm happy to talk more about at our booth right outside that door. We need to measure for impact, not just activity and speed. Okay, so daily active users, weekly active users, this is important, but we need to correlate that utilization to what's actually happening with the foundational productivity metrics. We need to build paved paths and guardrails for AI engineering so that our engineers can trust the output and so that we can trust the output from these tools. We need to bridge AI and non-AI workloads, and we need to look for areas throughout the SDLC. For most organizations, code generation is not the bottleneck, right? We need to find the actual bottleneck and friction points, not the 3 hours a week or so being saved by code generation, but what are we doing about heavy meeting days? What are we doing about other sources of context switching? And how can we integrate throughout the SDLC to make that better? And stay focused on the bigger picture. Let's not forget, like, despite all the hype and everything, this is still about building a better developer experience and ultimately better developer productivity. And we need to, of course, start looking into controlling our infrastructure costs, although I love to say that it's been 15 years since the last major hype cycle, and we're still figuring out cloud costs. But I'm also hearing about engineers that are burning through $2,000 worth of tokens a day. Ultimately, these AI metrics will tell us what's happening with the tools, but these core foundational productivity metrics that have always been serving us well for the last few years will tell us whether these initiatives are actually working, right? And that's why we need to look at those. So we were first to market with a full AI measurement framework. It is based off of our philosophy of Core 4 and space. So these are prescribed metrics that are normalized into these 3 dimensions of utilization, impact, and cost. So utilization, again, important for understanding what's happening with the technology. But these impact metrics are telling us whether or not this is actually working, right? Are we doing the right things internally to make sure that this technology is serving us in the way that it should? And if we look at these metrics, these are foundational metrics like throughput, quality metrics, and things like that. You can think of this as a bit of a maturity curve as well, right? So we start measuring utilization. That's what most businesses are doing, just trying to get a handle on who's using what. And then as we mature in our measurement, we start moving into how this is actually impacting productivity, how this is impacting developer experience. And then, yes, finally, we probably get to cost. All right, a good way to start, we published, this is a very research-driven guide to AI engineering. It's meant to go directly to engineers in the organization. We surveyed a bunch of senior-level VPs and asked them what types of practices they were using to establish better ROI with these tools, so things like meta prompting and multi-shot prompting, how to create a great feedback loop for your system prompts. And then we also surveyed developers directly, people saving at least an hour a week using AI. We asked them to stack rank their top 5 most valuable use cases, and we put all that into this guide that you see here. So this is a good way to start. And my time is up, but if you have questions, again, our booth is right out the doors in front of the escalators. And we're also hosting an office hours session at 10:30 in room B316. You'll go down the escalators, you'll walk for a little while, and you can't miss it. If you have more questions, if you want to get deeper into the framework, that's where to find us. Thanks very much.